right, so we're back in our meeting. It is 7:08. Next on the agenda is number 2, recognizing Chuck Almgeld, City of Wyoming Public Works Superintendent, 2019 through 2024. Chuck, can you come on up and... Do you need one? Okay. So, Chuck, this is in recognition of your 5 years as the Wyoming Public Works Superintendent. Not only were you a great superintendent, you've been a great friend and a great employee to us here in the city of Wyoming. We're going to miss you.
Miss you too. I would like to thank this mayor and council members, and I'll miss the staff meetings here at Mark's Stories.
And hearing your stories?
The public works, the public works employees really made my job easy. They are all professionals. And thank you very much.
We're going to miss your jokes and your smiles.
Thanks, Chuck.
Okay, on to our agenda. Number 3 is approval of minutes. Council, I will be calling roll call again this meeting. So approval of minutes. Number 3, consider approving the minutes of the regular meeting of the Wyoming, Minnesota City Council for February 20th, 2024. If there are no comments or changes, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Member Onstad. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Roll call, please. Member Yeager?
Aye.
Member Onstad?
Aye.
Member Luger?
Aye.
And Mayor Iverson is aye. Number 4, consider approving the minutes of the work session of the Wyoming, Minnesota City Council for February 20th, 2024. There are no comments or changes. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Member Onstad. We have a second by Member Luger. All right, roll call, please. Member Yeager.
Aye.
Member Onstad.
Aye.
Member Luger.
Aye.
Mayor Iverson is aye. It does pass. Moving on to the consent agenda, number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Does anybody wish to pull an item from the consent agenda? Seeing none, we need a motion to approve the consent agenda 1 through 15. Do I have a motion to approve? We have a motion to approve by Member Luger. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Member Onstad. Roll call, please. Member Yeager.
Aye.
Member Onstad.
Aye.
Member Luger.
Aye.
And Mayor Iverson is an aye. It does pass. Acknowledgement receipts of reports of officer, boards, commissions, and department heads. Number 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Does anybody wish to pull a report? Seeing none, we'll move on to, okay, wait, I gotta flip my agenda, sorry. We'll move on to new business. Number 21, to consider resolution 240331, a resolution approving an interim conditional use permit to operate a youth baseball practice facility in the detached accessory building at 24963 Fallbrook Avenue. Applicant Talbot and Jane Gravel, property ID 21.10610.31. Are the applicants here? Huh?
No, they aren't.
They're not. Okay. So, Mr. Weck.
Madam Mayor and council members, Mr. Gravel had been operating a baseball facility until I received a complaint. Teaching requires an interim conditional use permit, so after he received my letter, he immediately applied. So tonight, we're going through that application. Next slide, please. They're located at the intersection of 250th Street and Fallbrook Avenue. The detached accessory building, the building to the south of the red arrow on it, that would be where the training would be going on. Next slide. The applicant will be using the accessory structure as a baseball training facility, approximately 20 hours per week. He'll have on-site parking. There's an outdoor toilet, porta potty, four students using the accessory structure at one time. The initial complaint I got was about the porta potty, so he has already moved that. I think you should have pictures in the packet that he's moved it behind the building, so it's no longer visible. Next slide, please. These are the 9 conditions the staff and the planning commission are recommending for approval. The interim use permit would expire on April 1st in 2027 per the applicant's wishes, unless he decides to apply for an extension. Next slide. And the staff and planning commission are recommending approval with the conditions listed in the staff report and the resolution.
All right, we'll start with questions from council. Member Yeager.
Okay, well, first off, you mentioned the porta potty. Everything is visible from the street.
I haven't gone by since she received the pictures, but,
Okay,
one of the conditions was to screen it if it is still visible.
We drove by it last night, and, I mean, I could say, hey, yeah, there's the porta potty.
Okay.
Just because we stopped right in front of their driveway, there it is.
Okay.
So, I was gonna ask, where can it be located so that you can't see it?
Well, you could screen it. We've screened them in the parks. We've created wooden shelters around that, or I could talk to him and see where he's going to be moving it to that isn't visible from the street.
Yeah, I mean, you did that in Ashton Park where 3 sides are.
Yeah.
Okay. So the permit limits parking to 3 spaces, but the applicant says he has 4 students. I expect 4 cars. Where's the 4th going?
That I don't know, and I don't know if they'll be having parents carpooling. They're teenagers and younger, so I'm not sure how many will be driving and how many will not be. If that becomes an issue, we can address that, if he's having more parking.
Okay. And then, apparently the biggest complaint was the parking. So can the city require that there be no on-street parking for the home occupation?
The ordinance already requires that. He has to have all the parking has to be on his
Okay.
property, it can't be off-street.
And while the ordinance may require it, sometimes they're gonna end up in the street.
Then we'll have to address that when that
Well,
happens. Okay.
what I was gonna say,
Okay,
we had a similar problem up on Freeport Avenue by the elementary school,
okay.
where there was a bike path coming out, and the city put up and people were complaining about the parking on the street when there was something going on in the field. So the city put up a bunch of no parking signs just along that stretch.
Mhm.
Can we do the same thing?
That would be up to the city engineer and police, I guess, whether or not we could. I don't know if I can answer that question.
Council could certainly put up no parking signs. They'd have to put a no parking resolution just to make sure that it's enforceable. But I think you'd likely want to just determine if it does become an issue, and I think we prefer to have fewer signs within our right-of-ways as possible. So I think I would probably just monitor, and certainly that's something that could be added in the future if it becomes an issue.
Because my concern was, the comments from the neighbors are already complaining about parking in the street and not being able to get around, yada, yada, yada. And it reminded me of the situation that we had at Freeport a couple of years ago. And that's how it was resolved. So unless somebody's gonna be going around and making sure they're not parking in the street, or we're gonna wait for another complaint.
I believe it's a rural section, 24
It is.
wide, roughly, correct? So I
Yeah.
certainly think we could support that, but I think probably a comment and a note to the applicant that this is what will happen if it's not adhered to, maybe
Yeah.
that corrects the issue.
I could do that.
Okay.
And I would just emphasize that the proposed conditional use permit does require all parking to be off-street, and if that does become an issue, we could potentially revoke the permit and the
Okay.
application.
Okay, that's all I had.
All right, Member Onstad.
I noticed that there's a complaint, someone that strongly opposed this. One of the things that they said was that they don't want a business in a residential area. But looking at the map, it looks like there's several other businesses that are similar in size that are within a half mile. Would that be fair to say that residential does have businesses that are domestic.
There is one business I'm aware of with an interim use or conditional use permit, and that's Ben Monska's brother. I can't think of his, Tim Monska, on 250th Street. He has a woodworking business back in the woods. And a lot of home occupations don't require a permit. I don't have it in front of me, but typically ones that don't require people to come or use an accessory building, they can do those on their own. City Council, now that I think of it, did approve a conditional use permit for the injection molding person down in Fallbrook, about a quarter mile or so south of that one, so that was just last year or the year before.
So this would be kind of standard within the community and possibly within the state too?
As a home occupation, yes.
All right. Member Luker?
No questions.
All right, I just actually more have a statement. I'm a liaison in the planning commission, and they passed it unanimously. I'm gonna say as a council member, I really think it's best to wait to see if there is a problem. There wasn't neighbors, there was just one, so it's a neighbor, not neighbors plural, who had a complaint, and signs can be expensive, so I think to save money, instead of just going there that they're not gonna comply, I don't wanna put a no parking sign there yet. So leave it for if something truly does come of it. All right, I will make the motion to approve Resolution 240331, a resolution approving an interim conditional use permit to operate a youth baseball practice facility. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Onstad. Roll call, please. Member Yeager?
Aye.
Member Onstad?
Aye.
Member Luker?
Aye.
And Mayor Iverson is an aye. It does pass. Number 22, consider Resolution 240332, a resolution approving a variance for City Code Section 40-451, 1 and 44525C to allow the repair and replacement of damaged siding with a formed metal panel with exposed fasteners at 5201 260th Street. Applicant Emily Knapp of ISG on behalf of Rosenbauer, Minnesota LLC, property ID 21.004683. Mr. Webb.
Madam Mayor and council members, could you go to the next slide? Thanks. This facility for Rosenbauer is also the one, a couple years ago, they had a variance for the impervious surface area and the membrane structure. So, but last year, the snowfall, they had basically an avalanche on the east side of the building. All the snow shedded off the roof, came down and hit the siding on the back side of it. So there's a large crease about 4 or 5 feet above ground level. It goes across the whole length of the building. The insurance company is going to pay for the replacement of that and all the siding on the building since it's all old. In order to comply with the new ordinance, well, it's not a new ordinance, but we've recently readopted it. For the not having exposed metal fasteners, they would have to remove everything. The panels that they would put on are thicker than the roof is. So when to put those panels up, they would have to also replace the roof. So that is the reason why they're requesting the variance. Next slide, please. Site is zoned industrial, and it is an industrial use. Next slide. The material they're using, and actually I have it back behind here, this is the fluted steel. So typical for what we have. It will be embossed with a texture to it, so it won't be the shiny. So there's a kind of a pebbly-like texture on it to take care of that. Next slide. So, Planning Commission's recommend approval of the 7 findings of fact, and it's also meets the 8 criteria for the granting of the variance. Next slide. Planning Commission staff recommending approval of the variance with no conditions.
All right, so we'll start with Member Onstad for
No
questions.
questions.
Member Luker?
No questions.
I will again state that I was there as the Planning Commission liaison. This was unanimous. They felt that more of a grandfathered in on this type of thing, the product. And it would just be a hardship for the I don't know hardship is the right word for it, but to replace everything. So I think they came up with a great, just a great, what do I want to say, plan, whatever, for it. Compromise, I think is the word I'm looking for. So I know that they had a lot of discussion about it, and that's what they came up with, so. All right, and Member Yeager.
All right, so in a couple places in the report, the applicant says that these materials represent an improvement over what they have. Do you agree?
I would agree. It's embossed. It won't be shiny like the other ones. I'm not sure about a heavier grade metal, but it definitely is going to be an improvement over what's there now.
And it's also, because we drove by that too, it's also in the back, so it's really,
Right now it's in the back, but they're going to replace the whole building because they can't.
oh, they're gonna replace the whole building in that?
Yeah, yes, because they can't find anything that matches what's there already as far as,
Okay,
as that
and
material.
then they're not gonna care about matching the other two buildings?
No, that's not a requirement of the ordinance.
Okay, cool, thank you.
All right, we need a motion to approve.
So moved.
First motion by Member Luker, second?
So moved.
Second by Member Onstad. Roll call, please. Member Yeager?
Aye.
Member Onstad?
Aye.
Member Luker? Mayor Iverson is an aye. It does pass. Number 23, to consider the hiring of Jessica, I might need help with this last name, Munkholm, in the position of Administrative Assistant Record Clerk at $27.08 an hour with a tentative start date of March 11th, 2024. Chief Bauer?
Yes, please. Mayor Iverson, members of council, we're requesting authorization to fill our vacancy for administrative assistant and records clerk position. This hiring process, we received nearly 80 applicants, which is pretty incredible, with several very qualified individuals. We identified Ms. Munkholm as an excellent candidate for this position. Part of this hiring process included a practical exercise that we provided that required interpreting state statutes regarding government data practices, which is not exciting and difficult to interpret by all stretch of the imagination. She was able to make reasonable conclusions based on her interpretation of the statutes and provided really good justifications for her decisions. It was a very challenging exercise and she did very well on it. Jess has been an orthodontic assistant since 2021 and is also a volunteer firefighter with Taylors Falls Fire Department since 2020. She has a related experience as an office administrator in addition to performing the role of an HR assistant and accounts payable role. She also has experience as an office coordinator in the Chisago County area. Considering her experience, we're recommending that she starts at step 2 in the pay scale at $27.08 per hour. And we're excited to get her started with a recommended start date of March 11th, 2024.
All right, questions from council. We'll start from Member Yeager.
No questions.
Okay, Member Luker?
No questions.
Member Onstad?
No questions.
I have no questions either. I'm looking forward to meeting her when she gets started.
Absolutely.
And it's nice to have that position filled.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. All right, I will move to approve the hiring of Jessica Munkholm in the position of Administrative Assistant Records Clerk at $27.08 an hour. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Member Onstad. Roll call, please. Member Yeager.
Aye.
Member Onstad.
Aye.
Member Luker.
Aye.
And Mayor Iverson is an aye. It does pass. Number 24, to consider a city council work session for March 19th, 2024. Mr. Linwood or Mr. McFarland?
I'll be taking that, Mayor. Mayor, members of the council, this is just a request for a work session to take place prior to our March 19th council meeting. That'd be at 5:30. We want to give updates. We're going to have the county engineer, Joe Triplett, here to give some updates in the Highway 8 reconstruction project. We haven't had an update for him for a little bit. Also an update on the CASA 22, which is the west side over there with the pending development and maybe some pending work on that road. And then just to talk a little bit about our water distribution discussion with our city engineer based on some of the construction that will be taking place with the water this year and just current status of some of those things. So we're requesting that you have that work session on March 19th at 5:30 p.m.
Okay, did everybody check their calendars?
I do have a question. What building are you anticipating?
What building?
Like you just mentioned about, on the update on 22, it's related to building projects in the works?
The potential development on that side is, we've been working with WSB and our county engineer in regards to some of the different ways that potentially could work in there with the we had potentially talked about roundabouts with that development that was
okay. So-
oncoming, but
You don't have anybody like coming in, you're just,
no, it's just an
Planning.
update about planning for it, and the county also wanted to move forward with some potential, some maintenance to that existing portion of the road, but Mr. Triplett just wanted to give the council just some updates on that, and like I said, and then some more updates on the Highway 8 project, just more about the Wyoming section.
okay, and then the water distribution, again, it's just simply more planning than an imminent,
We'll have
Development.
planning, and then I think Mr. Erickson's working on some updates for, you had some questions about the last water report
Oh,
with
the
radium
sampling.
and sampling and things, so we'll just kind
Yeah.
of go through a few things on that as well.
okay.
All right, if there are no other questions, we need a motion to approve the work session for March 19th, 2024 at 5:30. We have a motion to approve by Member Luker. Do we have a second? I'll make that second. Iverson makes the second. Roll call, please. Member Yeager,
Aye.
Member Onstead,
Aye.
Member Luker, and Mayor Iverson are an aye as a
What do we-
yes.
Oh, you're fine.
Oh, okay.
What?
Oh, go ahead.
Did I say
No,
something wrong?
I
No,
know, I was just.
I was
thinking
just trying
ahead.
to catch you after, I didn't, when you looked up, I was just gonna try to get your attention, I apologize.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
I just wanted to, if we're completed, I think we made
Yeah.
the motion, the votes,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah,
Okay.
right?
Okay,
I
passed.
did.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
I just wanted to take an opportunity before we went into council reports.
Yeah.
We do have Steve Reeves here, our new
Yep.
Public Works Superintendent, so I just did want to introduce him to the council.
Perfect.
Welcome him. We're incredibly excited that he is here, and he started last week. This is his second week. He's already very busy and doing a great job, and we think that he's a great hire for the city, and we're excited to have him with us.
I would agree. Welcome.
Thanks, Rob.
We're
Madam
excited,
Mayor,
so-
Council, thanks. I'm very happy to be here and grateful for this opportunity to lead a talented, knowledgeable crew, and Chuck did an incredible job with the crew, and so I'm set that way coming into something. Chuck's work definitely shows, so thanks again.
All right. You come highly recommended as well, so we're excited to have you on the team.
I'm elated to be here.
Yeah, thank you. All right, we're going to go to council reports, so we'll start with Member Yeager.
No report. Thanks, guys, for always coming, and thank you all for watching.
Member Onstad,
No reports, and thanks for everyone showing up here and online.
Member Luker.
I attended the sewer commission meeting last Monday.
Yeah, all right, thank you. I also attended that meeting. I'm kind of excited that we've changed the whole format and the agenda, and we move right along. So things are going great there. I also attended the planning commission meeting as well, and it's such a great commission and some great ideas coming out of there. And of course, Mr. Weck does a really great job leading that. So appreciate that. They did some goal setting or some things they want to look at. So that was perfect. I also had the privilege to attend the League of Minnesota Cities annual council and elected official meeting in Alexandria this year. I was asked to be on a panel with two other mayors. The topic was difficult decisions. So it was a lot of fun. Smaller group when we do Alexandria than we do in Plymouth. So it was nice to meet a lot of new mayors and new council members. So it was a lot of fun. I also got the chance, we played an awesome game, and it's called the X and Y game. And we had to try to convince everybody to either vote X or Y. And so if you see the Lincoln picture, I'm doing my thing, making everybody try to understand why, as in why not, Wyoming way. So again, all the gestures. So it was a lot of fun. I did convince a couple people for one round to vote Y, and then they went back to X. So it was a lot of fun. It was a great time, learned a lot of wonderful things and some great speakers. So, and again, was very honored to be asked to be on such an esteemed panel. So with that, that's all we have. Anything we have coming up, the medallion hunt, is that?
So the medallion hunt was kicked off on Monday of this week. I can report that as of 10 a.m. today, it was found. Which to my excitement and chagrin, I was hoping to make it 4 days. But they found it. It was at Tolsman Park underneath one of the pieces of equipment that connects the monkey bars to a weird, I'm gonna call it stairway that you can walk on.
Yeah.
So, family of 4 kids, and I believe their mom came in today to turn it in. So they've been looking all week.
Okay, that's awesome. What a great way to get people to see our parks, right? So good job on that. Really appreciate it. Any other reports we want to give, stuff coming up? Nope. All right. So with that, we need a motion to adjourn. Anybody? We want to stay here? Okay. Member. All right. So Member Luger gave the first. Member Onstad is the second. Again, the last time. Roll call. Member Yeager. Member Onstad. Member Luger. And Mayor Iverson is an aye. We are adjourned at 7:30.